Good afternoon, or whatever time it is for you. My name's Jamie, and recently I've been really enjoying walking. So I thought I'd share with you why I like walking, why it's good, and my tips of how to walk. Obviously, it's a bit obvious, but how to incorporate walking into your life in a way that is positive and healing. So firstly, I'd like to acknowledge the Dalgaigan people whose land I'm recording this on. It's very misty day today and rainy, and all the plants are very green, not just because of my glasses. So yeah, it's a lovely day here on Dalgaigan land, and I'd like to acknowledge their ownership. Okay, so firstly, why should you go for a walk? Or why do I like to go for a walk? Firstly, I injured my knee a couple years ago, and I've been doing physio exercises and everything for it, which do help a lot, but I feel like walking, it's something that's natural for people to do, right? We've always been walking. And so it's something that it doesn't really hurt too much. Whereas running, it really can stir up your joints as well. So it would hurt my knee a lot. So walking is just a more gentle way of exercising. And I find it really helps me to cultivate my kind of self-kindness. So yeah, that's kind of this point. And then I've also found that walking is very helpful for kind of getting your brain to switch between things when you're transitioning between tasks. So say, I don't know, say I'm doing some work, I work from home. Say I'm doing work and then now I want to like turn my brain off work mode and go into like, okay, I'm on the weekend now, or it's after work time, I can relax. But I find if I don't have like certain thing separating those times, then I stay in kind of work brain, right? Which is a little bit stressful. So I find walking as a transition. I got to get out of the house and I go for a walk. I move my body, and also I work at a desk, so it's very nice to stretch and move my body. Yeah, it's very helpful for switching my brain into okay, now I'm at home mode. Which yeah, it's very helpful. Like I said, to imitate a commute. So if you work from home, then you don't have that commuting time to and from work, like driving, which is normally helpful. So I think yeah, just getting yourself to go for a walk, and then it's like, okay, now I'm at work. And then at the end of the day, you go for a walk again, you're like, okay, now I'm home. Tricking your brain into thinking that you've moved places, I guess, is helpful. Yeah, it's also really nice to explore the world around where you live. So for me, I can go to the beach, which I'd have to drive to get there, but then I could walk on the beach, which is obviously really nice. Or you could go to a lot of places that would have, like a park or a national park, some sort of bushwalking trails, things like that, which obviously would be very nice to see. Or just walking around your neighborhood. That's what I do. I just leave the house and walk along the road. And yeah, it's very nice to kind of have that physical connection with the place you actually live rather than just being in the internet brain all day. And of course, it doesn't have to be the only thing you do. I think with most things, you've got to have that moderation, right? So if you only walk and do nothing else, it's probably not great. It's good to have different types of activities in your day. So doing some swimming, some sort of, if you have like physio exercises or like kind of body workout type of things. And the occasional bit of running can be nice. The idea I said here, like turn your slow tiger into a fast tiger. It's this idea that evolutionarily we're programmed to have those kinds of adrenaline and everything so that if a tiger comes near us, we can run away from it, right? Because that's why we have stress responses. But in the modern day, a lot of things that cause us stress are not actually as immediately dangerous as a literal tiger. And so they call this like a slow tiger because normally, you run away from the tiger and then your body's like, oh, okay, now I can calm down. Whereas now, because the stressors, they're kind of just like over a long period of time, kind of background level. So there's never that release of your body going, okay, I've run away from it and now I'm safe. So I can calm down. So I think running is very helpful because it kind of gives your body those signals of like, okay, I've done what needed doing, I've run away from the danger and now I'm safe, and it kind of resets your kind of stress response to like a normal level of adrenaline and stuff. Okay, and obviously there are a lot of health benefits of walking. It's good for your bone strength. It's good for your your breathing and your heart. It's good for your mental health because if you're walking outside, you're going to be probably in the sun at some point. You're going to get some vitamin D on your skin, which is good for sleep as well. Even just exercising in general is good for sleep. Yeah, and also it's actually good for dementia prevention. Yeah, walking is it like it's beneficial for your brain health basically. And there's also this concept here of forest walking or forest bathing, I guess. Forest bathing, which I think it's a Japanese thing. It's called Shinrin-yoku, and it's I don't know. They've done studies basically when you go in the forest, you you feel relaxed and you like calm down. It's really good for your health, and you breathe more deeply. And um, yeah, so if you're it doesn't have to be a forest, but just walking around in nature, it's very relaxing for your nervous system. So yeah, and I also think it's really nice to see, because if you walk, especially for me, I usually walk just on my road near my house, so I'm going to the same place every time I walk usually, which means that if you keep doing this like over the course of a year, you get to witness really the seasons changing. You take that time to notice all the little trees and plants that maybe I've lived there for my whole life and maybe I haven't noticed them before. Um, yeah, and like there are these like seed pods. I don't even know what the plant is, some type of grass, I think. But I first saw them, they were like green and hard, and then over the months, like they started blossoming, and now the flowers have all been eaten, and now they're just like little kind of withering husks. But seeing that change happen over months, because I was walking there like consistently, it's very you feel like you're part of that, I guess, community of like the plants and animals and everything. You feel like you're going to see that change happen. And I think yeah, it does kind of help you realize like these things have to happen over a long time, right? Like I think these days a lot of people they exercise by just going to the gym and like pounding it out on the treadmill or whatever. But that's like I don't know, you're very boxed in that way. Whereas yeah, with this walking, it's like outside, it's unhurried, and it helps you to be kind to yourself and to recognize that life is not like this kind of race on a treadmill, right? Yeah, which reminds me of this video I was watching the other day from ARTE Reportage, and they were hang on, let me just anyway they it reminds me of a video I was watching the other day where there was a woman who she's a tattoo artist who she tattoos like flowers and stuff and leaves um onto people using just straight up the plant as a reference. Like she doesn't have a photo or anything. She gets like the flower and like use it as a stencil, and then she goes and like tattoos it properly with a tattoo gun. But it was really cool, and she was saying that she gets a lot of inspiration from spending her mornings like going to a botanical garden, and um yeah, and it really helps her to realize that like a flower we can't rush it. We can't make the flower grow faster, right? There's a certain period of time that it needs to grow, and kind of being exposed to nature over like a long period of time, it helps you to internalize that and to apply it to yourself. Okay, so that's the reasons why I think walking is good for you or good for us. So now let's get into how I would suggest going about walking. The first thing is, I would say chunking, so doing little small chunks of walking, because especially with me, like for my injury, I can't just walk for like 3 hours in one go. I'll get hurt and then I would then need to rest for longer, and then I can't exercise then. So it's really important to take it slowly, take it easily. There's a really good book. It's called Manage Your Pain, I believe, which I'll link somehow. But yeah, basically, I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory. I definitely have heard this from many sources, but sometimes you need to hear it from someone who's like a professional, I guess, in order to believe it. But yeah, so basically, what the idea is that you go for a walk, right, and then notice when you start feeling discomfort and like soreness, right? So maybe it's 20 minutes, maybe it's 2 minutes, whenever that is. Then start like so. Say if it's 20 minutes, then maybe say like 15 minutes, right? That's your walk length. And so you go for in the morning, go for one 15-minute walk. Then maybe lunchtime you go 15-minute walk. Evening 15-minute walk. So now you've done 45 minutes of walking, but you've only done it in little chunks. So you haven't hurt yourself. So you can keep doing little chunks. I hope that makes sense. This is very helpful. And as you keep doing those little chunks, your stamina and your fitness they'll build up, and you'll be able to walk for longer periods at one time. But taking it really slowly is important. That's how you make it sustainable over the long term. So yeah, walking where you want to walk is also important. Basically, when I leave my house, right, I could go left or I could go right. If I go left, there's kind of a steeper hill and it's a little bit longer to the next like landmark. And I always used to think like I really ought to go that way because it's steeper. You know, it's like better for my fitness or something. But I didn't want to, you know. I always wanted to go right. And so I just decided this year, like, okay, I'll just always go right because that's the way I want to go. And that's what I've been doing. And it's so much fun. I love to, because it doesn't feel like a punishment. It feels like, oh, I'm walking the way I want to walk, you know. So I really, maybe this is something that other people don't do, but I don't know. I think definitely walking the way that you want to walk. So if you want to walk at a treadmill, if that's where you're comfortable, do that. If you want to walk at the beach, do that. If you want to walk in the forest, do that. If you want to just walk around your block, do that. I did put this down here, but maybe let's put it up here. Yeah, if you can only walk, if you just want to walk inside your house, like that's fine. Just do laps of your house, honestly. Like my mum recently, she broke her ankle, and that's what she had to do because she couldn't walk on uneven ground. So if that's where you're at, that's really important. Just do little bits, you know, 5 minutes, do a lap of your kitchen, right? Anything is kind of better than nothing, but like just don't overdo it. Be kind to yourself and be patient. Picking a certain time of day, I think is helpful. So I live in somewhere that's kind of hot, so definitely I would go either in the early morning or in the evening when it's cooler. And for me, like usually I finish work in the evening and then I go for a walk. So I think that's really powerful because it builds that association, right? Where now like it gets to a certain time of day and my whole body is like, I need to go for a walk, you know. And that it makes that habit really difficult to ignore, right? And really easy to just do it, just go for a walk. So I think that is very helpful. But maybe if you live somewhere cold, maybe you need to walk somewhere when it's warmer in the day. But yeah, but also we have like a big Bunnings umbrella, which I've been using as well. So I can go for a walk when it's raining, when it's stormy, you know, when it's really sunny. I just take my umbrella and I'm safe from the elements. Yeah, and I think I found with my knee injury anyway, like wearing warm like track pants is actually really helpful for, I don't know, I guess it makes my muscles feel kind of warm and my knee feels a bit happier to move. Or else when it's hot, like, you know, wearing bike shorts, whatever it could be. And comfy shoes that are made for walking in, very important. But yeah, and then, okay, I guess the idea for me is to try and walk really as much as I can because no matter what I'm doing, say if I wanna watch something or listen to something, the options are sitting at home and listening to a podcast, right? Or going for a walk and listening to a podcast. I'd rather go for a walk and listen to the podcast, right? So I guess listening for me is a kind of a way of inviting yourself, of incentivizing yourself to go for a walk. So whatever you like to listen to, definitely do that, like podcasts, audiobooks, music, etc. Or just call a friend or your family, or like if you book it in advance, you can do that. Or obviously if there's someone who you live nearby, you can walk with and talk to them. That's also really good. What I call it Autologue. This is an idea from Kato Lomb. Basically the idea is kind of talking to yourself, but with a purpose, I guess. So it's usually used for language learning. But yeah, so like you kind of pick a topic or something and you just imagine that either you imagine you're talking to someone else or I guess you can imagine you're making a YouTube video or you're just you're just talking about a certain topic or imagining a dialogue or something like this. It's just about practicing speaking, basically. Or if you're not into language learning, another way you can think of this is a voice recording diary, which I love to do, where I just open the voice recorder on my app, on my phone, and I just talk into it. And it's basically just a brain dumping kind of diary journaling thing, kind of similar to morning pages from the Artist Way, but I just do it verbally. And I feel like that breaks down the barrier of like, what do I write? You know, it doesn't have that kind of blank page syndrome where you get scared and overwhelmed. Yeah, so I think voice recordings I find a very helpful way of if I'm having a problem or something I need to work through, just getting it out is very helpful. But otherwise, you don't always have to listen to something, definitely, or be talking. It's kind of, listening and talking. This one's also talking. But yeah, and then silence is also really valuable for a lot of things. Just yeah, Dadirri is this idea of like deep listening. I'll link some stuff for this too. Um, but yeah, like listening to the birds and the insects and the wind and everything. It's yeah, just kind of being present and mindful and existing without kind of trying to drown anything out, right? You can also bring a camera, even like your phone camera, and try and find cool like flowers or trees or I don't know little like lines in the pavement to take photos of. That's always fun. But you will walk more slowly probably, but that's okay sometimes. Yeah, and then the section of magic numbers. So generally, I like to avoid magic numbers because yeah, I feel like if there's not a purpose for what you're doing, it's less meaningful. And it's like what we're talking about up here with like the idea of healing and taking it slow and being kind to yourself. If you make up some number like I have to walk a certain kilometers per day, that's going to take the joy out of it, right? And it's going to feel like a task that you have to do. But I'm probably sure, yeah, we're probably all aware of this like 10,000 steps magic number. But this one at least is like scientifically supported, I guess, by evidence. I mean, a lot of people, I'm sure you have like some sort of watch thing, but I don't have those. I don't like things on my wrists. And the data collection is a bit, but yeah. So I just looked up like average stride length table and found like my height and then like the average number for what my stride length is probably going to be because I don't want to actually measure it. And then I just divided that to find how many kilometers 10,000 steps would be. So for me, I think it's about 4.6 kilometers. And then, because I walk just on the road, so then I just use like Google Maps to find it. You can find like the distance between 2 points. So then I use that to calculate like how many laps of this part of road would I need to do to make 10,000 steps, basically. And it's actually not very much. Like it's not as much as I would have thought it was, to be honest. But when I first started doing this, which was maybe a couple months ago, of like walking intentionally, properly, frequently, I could not have done that much, definitely, at all. I was just doing like a couple laps, but I just kept building it. And now, these days, it's actually easy for me to do all of that. So I think, yeah, having patience and being kind to yourself and don't box yourself into thinking like, oh, I can only do this small amount. Because even though maybe you can only do that now, but that doesn't mean that's the limit of your potential ability, right? So just appreciate the time as it passes. Yeah, and one day you may be surprised by how far you've come. Okay, I think that's it for today. I'll see you next time, I guess. Thank you for listening.